as an example, they cut out 99% of the times when I'm really nice. So you only, you only see the one.
Simon Cowell's life has been a story of extremes, from near-death accidents to building a $600 million empire. The man who discovered Kelly Clarkson, One Direction, and Susan Boyle has endured trials that cameras never captured. Beneath the public persona of a ruthless TV judge lies a childhood marked by neglect, failures, and longing for validation. At 65, he moves carefully, his spine reinforced by steel rods, holding his son Eric with the intensity of a man who knows the fragility of life. The journey from invisibility to fame, scandal, accidents, and redemption reveals a man shaped not only by success, but by the profound lessons of loss, survival, and love. A childhood of silence. Born on October 7, 1959, in London, Simon Cowell entered a world that appeared perfect but felt emotionally barren. His mother, Julie Brett, was elegant and admired but emotionally distant, while his father, Eric Cowell, valued achievement over affection. Praise was rare, and words like, "I'm proud of you," were never spoken. This lack of validation created deep emotional scars that Simon carried into adulthood. He longed for recognition, not only at home, but in every aspect of life, shaping his obsession with success. The boy who never felt truly seen learned early that love and approval were scarce commodities, setting the stage for a relentless drive to prove his worth to the world. School years and early rebellion. School offered no refuge for young Simon. At Radlett Preparatory School and Dover College, he was restless, rebellious, and often clashed with teachers. Boredom fueled defiance, and he became known as the problem child. Despite intelligence and potential, Simon scraped through with minimal qualifications. The system demanded conformity, yet he resisted disappearing into its rules. Rejection and invisibility became constant companions, reinforcing his fear of insignificance. These formative experiences instilled both resilience and a determination to escape mediocrity. Simon's early struggles highlight the paradox of his future. A man capable of commanding global attention was first invisible to those closest to him. From mailroom to ambition, Simon's entry into the music industry came thanks to his father, who secured him a mailroom position at EMI Music Publishing. There, Simon delivered coffee and sorted fan mail for artists whose fame contrasted sharply with his anonymity. Initially, humiliation defined these years, yet Simon observed carefully, learning the intricacies of the industry, how hits were manufactured, packaged, and sold. These early setbacks were formative, teaching him the mechanics of power, timing, and public taste. The invisibility that once hurt him became a lens for strategy, shaping the man who would one day wield unparalleled influence over the entertainment industry. Early success and bankruptcy. In 1983, Simon left EMI to launch Fanfare Records, experiencing a brief taste of visibility and success. Hits like So Macho put him on the map, and he reveled in the excitement of parties, industry recognition, and newfound wealth. Yet the early triumphs were fleeting. By the late 1980s, the novelty pop market declined, distribution deals collapsed, and Simon found himself bankrupt at just 30. Offices were abandoned, contracts worthless, and his personal humiliation mirrored his professional failure. The boy who once felt invisible had briefly been seen and then erased. The collapse marked a turning point, teaching Simon resilience and the necessity of adapting strategy over chasing fleeting fame. The lessons of desperation. Forced to return to his childhood bedroom, Simon confronted despair and humiliation. Nights were spent crying in solitude, reliving fear and rejection. Yet this period forged a crucial lesson. Survival demanded relentless effort, observation, and learning from every setback. Simon began consulting for BMG Records, studying trends and public tastes, realizing that ordinary people, not critics, dictated success. From humiliation came clarity. He learned to measure value by impact, not prestige, and to seek results over approval. These years cultivated the strategic patience that would later define his empire. Desperation transformed into insight, guiding Simon's path to dominance in a world that had once dismissed him. Spotting talent in the gap. In the 1990s, Simon's focus shifted toward identifying what audiences wanted. He ignored critics, signing acts like Robson and Jerome and Westlife, often dismissed as corporate or soulless. Yet these acts sold millions, demonstrating Simon's ability to spot public appeal where others saw mediocrity. His method was simple: appeal to the masses rather than tastemakers. Every commercial success was proof of his vision, evidence that the invisible boy had become a man who understood people's desires. Simon's brilliance lay not in talent alone, but in recognizing potential, packaging it effectively, and connecting with audiences in ways critics never understood. The birth of a television empire. The early 2000s brought television opportunity with Pop Idol. Simon's blunt honesty shocked audiences. He criticized harshly, but audiences loved it. The public craved authenticity, not sugar-coated approval. When American Idol launched in 2002, ratings soared, and Simon became a global figure. This was the moment his visibility transformed into cultural influence. The shows were platforms to shape careers and capture audiences worldwide. Simon's insights into talent, public taste, and media presentation coalesced, turning him into an arbiter of fame. He wasn't just a judge. He was a cultural force capable of shaping music and television industries simultaneously. Expanding the empire following American Idol, Simon created The X Factor and Got Talent franchises, introducing a formula that combined entertainment, discovery, and public engagement. Acts like Leona Lewis, One Direction, and Susan Boyle became global stars under his guidance. The format's expansion into over 70 countries reached 600 million viewers, making Simon's influence nearly unmatched. Success brought wealth, fame, and power, but also relentless pressure and public scrutiny. The empire he built was vast, yet personal life and connections often suffered. Fame, he learned, magnifies both success and loneliness, a truth Simon would confront repeatedly throughout his career. Scandal and fatherhood. In 2013, Simon faced a personal scandal. He fathered a child with Lauren Silverman, the wife of a close friend. The media frenzy was intense, relationships fractured, and he felt powerless despite his global influence. Fatherhood, however, became a turning point. Eric, born in 2014, offered Simon unconditional love and a grounding presence. The man once obsessed with ratings and deals now focused on bedtime stories, diaper changes, and being present. Parenthood forced Simon to reassess priorities, teaching him that influence and wealth could not replace love and human connection. The scandal became a catalyst for personal growth, highlighting the transformative power of parenthood. Near-fatal accidents and mortality. In 2020 and again in 2022, Simon suffered serious electric bike accidents, fracturing his spine and breaking bones. These experiences left him physically vulnerable, reinforcing the fragility of life. Recovery was agonizing, with months of therapy and careful movement required. The accidents were mirrors reflecting a lifetime of relentless ambition and denial of mortality. For Simon, the greatest fear was losing time with Eric, making each small physical victory precious. These events forced a reckoning. Survival is more important than empire. Presence matters more than power, and every moment with loved ones carries immeasurable value. Grief and reflection. Simon endured the deaths of both parents and the tragic loss of Liam Payne, a young star he considered like a son. These losses brought grief that money or fame could not mitigate. The absence of parental affirmation, compounded by losing people he loved, left Simon confronting mortality, regret, and the limits of influence. Fatherhood helped anchor him through these storms, teaching him empathy, patience, and the importance of presence. He began to redefine success not in financial terms, but in moments of connection, love, and remembrance of those who shaped his life. Cosmetic transformation and self-recognition. Over the years, Simon experimented with cosmetic procedures, ultimately losing recognition of his own face. Vanity and industry pressure collided, leaving him alienated from himself. The public's scrutiny mirrored his lifelong experience of judgment. Simon's decision to stop interventions marked a deeper acceptance, embracing authenticity, vulnerability, and aging naturally. The choice reflected a broader personal transformation, prioritizing health, relationships, and self-respect over superficial appearances. His reflection became a metaphor for the reconciliation of ambition with human fragility, a lesson only hardship and introspection could teach. Legacy of love and empathy. At 65, Simon Cowell's life balances empire and intimate presence. Health is prioritized, professional obligations are moderated, and time with Eric is sacred. Material wealth remains, yet he focuses on instilling values and supporting children's causes, rather than leaving fortunes untouched. The truest measure of his life now lies in relationships, empathy, and the human connections he nurtures. From a neglected, invisible boy to a global mogul, Simon's journey demonstrates that the ultimate legacy is not power or fame, but love, humility, and purpose. His story underscores a universal truth. Survival, reflection, and presence define the meaning of life more than accomplishments or wealth ever can. The final reflection. Simon Cowell's story is a testament to resilience, transformation, and the human spirit. From childhood neglect to bankruptcy, scandal, near-death accidents, and loss, he endured trials that money could not shield him from. Yet through every fall, he rose again, learning to value connection over control, presence over power, and love over approval. Today, Simon's legacy is both public and profoundly private. A television empire that changed global entertainment, and a personal journey of rediscovery, compassion, and fatherhood. In the end, Simon Cowell teaches us that the truest measure of life lies not in what we build, but in who we become, and the love we cultivate along the way.